assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inner Voice Show. Happy holidays. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. I'm psychotherapist, author, and the originator of the Awareness Integration Theory. And hello to Sean, our director at our studio. This is a show about what matters most in our life: our minds, our thoughts, feelings, actions, relationships, and our fulfillment in this beautiful journey of life. Today, I will share the tip of the week about enjoying our time throughout the holiday, all of the ups and downs that it may have. And then in the Ask Me segment, I will share with you how to handle your stress, whether it's traveling or going to parties or still buying or going back and giving, returning the gifts and all of it. And then I chat with Elliot Noble-Holt. He's the founder and the CEO of MediCopy Services, and which is based in Nashville, Tennessee. He currently provides HIM solutions to more than 4,000 healthcare facilities nationwide. We will be talking about his latest book, Bald Bearded Boss: Manifesting Who You Are Meant to Be, and so much more. I'm sure you will have you'll like the conversation. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and podcast. Connect with me through all of the social media, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you like, Facebook, through Dr. Foojan Zeine. And I'd love to hear from you. But first, here's the tip of the week. May all your wishes come through, knowing that you deserve to be happy and have it all, everything you've ever desired. This time of the year brings joy, love, connectedness, and festivity for many, many, many people. For some, this is a time to face their loneliness. For others, it's time to face unhealthy relationships with loved ones or family. You may feel lonely when you disconnect from everyone around you. There are more than 7 billion people on the face of this earth that you can connect to. And remember, they're there, waiting to be connecting with you. You may have disconnected from yourself and therefore not connected with anybody else. You may be judging others, or you may be judging yourself, withdrawing, closing up, avoiding connection, and as a result, feeling lonely. You may want to have the special person who's not there, and then kind of forget about all the other people who are out there for you. You may be trying to protect yourself by disconnecting so that you won't be harmed, and then you won't be hurt, and yet harming yourself by isolating. You may hold unrealistic expectations from yourself and others, and then kind of like judge them harshly, and therefore resulting in avoiding everybody else. Like, I just don't feel like I want to talk to anybody. But somehow when you check inside, there are certain people you really want to connect. And maybe because you can't connect to them, you feel like, I shouldn't connect to anyone. You're not alone. I promise you, you're not alone. Focus on all the people who love you and care for you, even if you're not feeling close to them. And maybe it's somebody that's on the street. Maybe it's someone that you get coffee from. Maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe it's just opening your heart and seeing somebody smile who really wants to connect with you. So if you're not closed off from receiving. There might be a lot of people out there that want to connect. Focus on all the people that you're impacting or inspiring every day, and you don't even notice. Focus on all the people who rely on you. And maybe you could see how valuable you are, and that again, you're not alone. And focus on the best version of you, whoever you think is the best version of you. Become aware of your thoughts and feelings as you're preparing to be with your family. Be watchful of how you may be interacting with your family members from the past, fixed history, giving yourself or them a chance to show up differently. Be conscious of your triggers and how you automatically might find yourself reacting to what is not really there, but only in your mind. Watch for the triggers that come up due to reactions of your family members, and then you react to them. Choose an interaction that you can be proud of the next day, at least from your side. Obviously, you have no control over them. But when the next day you kind of recall and rehash what happened, even if it was hurtful, even if it was uncomfortable, that you could say, I did my best and it was okay. Like, I'm proud of, if I rerun that whole concept, the whole night, I'm okay. If I had to do it over again, this is the way I would do it because, again, I did my best. Remember, this is a time to connect to you, cherishing yourself, shedding all old, unwanted, and unworkable habits, allowing love to flourish you. Yes, to flourish you, and choosing healthier habits that work for you. Just sit down, meditate, go over every part of your body, like your hair, your face, your neck, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your chin, all of it. Go over your neck and appreciate every part. Appreciate your eyes for seeing, and your ears for hearing, and your mouth for tasting, amazing, and for your nose for breathing in amazing aromas and giving you life with a breathing. Go back with your hands, your arms, for getting you things, all of your organs, your heart for beating, and your organs for working, your legs for moving you along everywhere. Just appreciate, sit down and go caress your arms and your hand and say, I appreciate you. I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror. Yes, yes, yes. Look at yourself in the mirror. Don't look at the parts you don't like. Don't worry about it. Start looking in your own eyes and tell yourself, I love you. Yes. And I want to be here with you. And I want to share you with the world and in your best, best, best way. And begin connecting first to yourself, to your heart, to your body, because this body is the only vehicle you've got to feel. If you're disconnected from this body, you're not going to feel. And sometimes there's just no purpose when you're not feeling, you're not experiencing. Sometimes when you experience, yes, you might have some hardship also. But remember, when you close down all the feelings, you're closing down all the good ones too, all the ones that you actually enjoy and yearn for. So open up your heart, get connected to your body, feel the feelings, and choose to feel joy. Choose to feel happy. Choose to feel calm. Bring up those feelings. Yes, you can. You can bring those up. Imagine being in a place, being with people who bring you the joy and the love and the calmness and serenity. And then start feeling them in your heart. And let the spirit of the holiday bring you generosity of love and kindness toward yourself, your surrounding, and everyone who's around you. Whether you're sitting home beside a fireplace and kind of being with yourself, you don't even need to call it being alone. Be with yourself. Enjoy yourself. read an amazing book, watch a great movie that you've never had. And if you are with people, then connect to them heart to heart. Cherish them. Have the gratitude. Let them know how much you appreciate having them in your life and how much you're grateful for everything that you've ever learned from them and everything you've had the opportunity to share with them from your heart and from your experiences that could have been very, very useful for them. So be authentic and be you and enjoy you. Also, we're going to the next year. So maybe it's also a week that you can start looking at, if I was going to do the spring cleaning in the winter, and if I was going to have the opportunity to kind of let go of some of the stuff that I don't want to, let's do it. Let's first go into our closet, go over all of the clothes that you think, I haven't worn for a year. They're not my shape anymore. They're not my taste anymore. They're not in my fashion anymore. Put them together and donate them. Give them to someone who still enjoys them and could really, really wear them with joy and love. Go over all of your shoes and the ones that don't look good anymore or don't fit, let them go. Either give them as a gift or they're not gift worthy anymore and you've utilized them as much as you could, then let them go. So let go of everything that is out there that kind of belongs to you, but it's just no longer working for you. And then let's start sitting down and looking at the thought process that shows up for you. Let's take the whole week, journal every night to really get to know your own thought process. What do you think about? What are some of the limiting beliefs where your beliefs are actually limiting you? What are some of the beliefs and thought process that just enrages you, gets you angry, feels powerless, creates guilt, creates shame? Any of those emotions, then evaluate those beliefs. Is there anything you need to do with them? Is there anything you need to come clean? Is there anything that you have remorse and you need to go clean up? Is there anything that is there that no longer works? Maybe it wasn't even yours. Maybe it just kind of inherited and then kept subscribing to it. It's not really yours. You don't even need to keep them anymore. Let's look at all the relationships. Relationship at work, the relationship with your family, with your parents, with your siblings, with your mate, your children, your neighbors, your community. What part of these relationships are you flourishing, expanding, bringing light and love to? And which part of these relationships you're being greedy and maybe not best of use going there, maybe jealousy, envy, kind of like your ego is at hand, maybe righteousness is there, and it's not developing good relationship for you. So let's look at those relationships and see if you were going to be the best of you, which you were going to be really proud, what would you change in any of those from your side? So obviously you have no saying about how they're going to change it. You can request it, but you won't be able to control it. What part of you, your thought process, your words, your latentness, you would like to upgrade, let's say, so that you can have relationships that foster love and kindness and connection and cooperativeness together. So let's look at all of those. Let's look at how you think of yourself. And if you're being harsh, if you're being punitive, and maybe those don't work anymore. And how could you be loving and still hold yourself in a space where you could move forward and be motivated and creative and co-create, create and co-create the best life that you could ever have. And if you see that there are belief systems and thought processes that just don't work in that area about yourself, well, let's shut them. You don't need to gift this to anybody else. You could just dump them. And then start looking at what type of thought process and beliefs would actually make you grow, make you expand, make you just be proud, confident, and want to grow. And what in the world will give you this concept of, oh, wow, I'm excited. I'm excited in being that. I'm excited to learn that. I'm excited to expand this, that. Well, let's bring them on. Let's bring them into your life and get ready for your New Year resolution and write it in a positive way and write it that it calls you forward and that you're excited to have 2022 be an amazing year for you, despite anything that shows up out there, whether it's a virus, it's the weather, it's conditions, financial conditions. There could be a lot of stuff that could happen that are not in your hands. You can't foresee it, can't do much about it until it happens. It's almost like a bridge that we'll just cross when it shows up. We'll cross with the best of our ability. As I've survived so far for 60 years, I'm going to survive the rest. So come with that thought process of what are your strengths? Know your strengths. Know where you could use them. Know where your vulnerabilities are and take care of them. Don't be ashamed of them. Just take care of them. We all have them, by the way. It's not like you're the only one who's got to be vulnerable at one point. We all have them. So let's have our strength, take care of our vulnerabilities. Let's trust other people to share our strength with and have their strength take care of our vulnerabilities at times. And move along with our community and our community at large, which we're all on earth, and create the best that we can. So let's get ready for 2022, and I'll see you in 2022. Well, here's the question of the week. I have heard from some of you that says holidays are stressed time for us. We have to go on trips, we have to book airlines, run, do things, buy gifts. And then with all of the news about COVID, it's really stressful where we go. Are we going to get it? Not. So what do we do with all the stress that's going on? Although we want to enjoy this time, we want to have the time off from the stress of the work, but the stress of being with the family and doing everything else, the gatherings, the party, if they're going to be in our house, everything is just going to be more stressful. So how can I calm myself and actually enjoy the holiday time? Well, you're right. It is stressful. Can we make it more stressful as things happen? Or can we, at every moment, just watch our body, watch our thinking process, watch our emotions? What is it that we really want? What is the purpose of what we're doing? And go back into that system. So a couple of things about stress. One is a physical concept. So when you are stressed, if you focus on your body and actually put yourself into more stress, and then get panic about what your body's doing, it's going to give you more stress. So obviously, when you feel your body clenching or your heart rate going higher or your breathing changes and you're getting a headache and you're getting a backache because of the stress that's going, stop for a minute, just a minute, wherever you are, either standing, take a seat, if you can, rest and be horizontal somewhere, lay down, do them for a minute and just take a deep breath. When you take a deep breath and you allow your exhale to go longer, it reminds your body that it's all safe. And you can let yourself know that it's okay. I can take 1 minute, go in, calm down my body, and reevaluate what's going on here. And then, as you are resting and taking a deep breath, and start looking at what was the purpose of all of this. The purpose of traveling was to be with family or having a vacation. The purpose of being with other people is to enjoy. The purpose of getting a gift for people is to show them how much you love and care for them. Remember the purpose. That's why you are going through this stress. So when you create a meaning and a purpose for something, the stress does not become overwhelming for you. It's almost like it goes in the background, and then you get refocused about, oh, let me enter joy into all of this as I'm moving forward. Let me shift my attitude about why I'm doing all of this. And as you go forward, then focus on what is it that I need to do first? How can I make my plan in a way throughout the whole day that I can handle everything? And many of the tasks that I think I have to do, I can maybe cut out. How can I be more efficient? How can I ask for help? Ask other people to do some of the things, and keep breathing in the middle of it. Sometimes it's good for you to just take a rest. 5 minutes of taking a rest, 20 minutes of taking a nap, it will really reboost your whole system, and you could go out with higher level of energy and do what you need to do. When it comes to the stress of how to deal with people, family members, your children, your spouse, your neighbors, your work, things you got to do, and you got to deal with people, tell yourself, what is it that I want to gain out of this interaction? What would it be that after I have this interaction, I could turn around and say, good, it was a good interaction? What is it that you could envision about the end of the interaction or afterward? What type of feeling and emotions you want the other person to be left with after they've had that interaction with you? What kind of feeling do you want to be left with after that you've had that interaction? So maybe if you think about those, it's almost like intentionally creating the next level for yourself and going and moving from that space. And in the middle, if you feel you're getting activated and you need a space, take it, take the space. Just say, excuse me, go to another room, go to another line, go to the bathroom, put your hand under cold water and refocus again. Remember, maybe your egos got hurt. Maybe there was something that got you overwhelmed. Maybe you got triggered. Just remove yourself for a minute, recenter yourself, and see what is it that I want to gain, and then reclaim who you are and go back and continue the conversation. And, for holidays, sometimes we just need to ignore the conversations that we don't like, bringing and change the subjects to some of the things we do like. Don't take things personal, and remove yourself if you're feeling bothered by it. Reconnect, re-engage, and have your time with your family and friends. These are the times that obviously we're going to be more stressed. So as you plan your day, please remember to put those breaks in during the day. Don't feel guilty for taking breaks. Just calm yourself down, because if you're not calm, your communication skills, your engagement skills, your negotiation skills, all of them are just going to suffer. So the more you take care of yourself, the more your results are going to be exactly how you like them to be. So take care of yourself and have an amazing, amazing holiday. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and I am excited to have Elliot Noble-Holt with me. He has devoted his whole life to the advancement of healthcare information management. He is the founder and the CEO of MediCopy Services, and he is in Nashville, Tennessee. He currently provides HIM solution to more than 4,000 healthcare facilities nationwide. MediCopy and Noble-Holt have received numerous accolades, including the Inc. 5000, America's fastest growing companies in the US, and 8 times, and Nashville's Most Admired CEO Award. We're going to talk about his latest book, Bald Bearded Boss, BBB, Manifesting Who You're Meant to Be. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I went through your book and I really enjoyed it. So the concept of being an entrepreneur, you said that I knew I was a boss even when I was a kid, but then also like watching your dad and, you know, finding your own kind of a way of being a boss. You said that being a boss should be about having a mission. And a vision. So can you share a little bit about your mission, your vision, and how you support others to get their mission and vision?
Absolutely. So I think when I first started the business, my goal was just to make money. But as that evolved and I started bringing on more team members, my goal started being for not only for myself to grow personally and professionally and for the business to grow, but I started finding a lot of enjoyment watching my team members grow, both personally and professionally. And they would come to me asking me for, you know, different paths to grow within the business. But then they also started coming to me asking me for personal advice about relationships or whatever it may be. And not that I'm a professional by all means, but I ended up taking a lot of value out of that and started getting my enjoyment out of that piece. One of the things that we do every year are create vision boards, and I request from my team members, we have a little over 200 employees now, to create vision boards. I know most humans don't stop just for 5 minutes to think about what they want out of life for the next 12 to 18 months. And so I encourage vision boards, and anyone that participates in the vision board contest that we have, I give them 8 hours of PTO. And then the first place winner that has the best content and who's most creative wins a week off work. Second place, 3 days off work. And third place, 2 days off work. And I don't get anything out of it, but my team members get to stop, like I said, and really think about what they want out of life. If it's, I think we go into life thinking about, you know, we want a partner or a husband and wife, and we want a great job, but we get lost in the sauce somewhere. And I think there's times where we need to stop. And I just happen to do this every December and think about where I want to be 12 months from now. And I put a board together and then I go after it all. But like I said, most humans don't even stop to get the thoughts out of their head onto a board, much less take the actions behind the board to get to your end goal. But I encourage my team members to do that. And then I walk them along the way. I know that was a long answer to that question.
I do believe that vision board works a lot. I do that also with myself and with my client. And I think that it works in so many ways because we are visual. Human beings are very visual. And seeing what you want to manifest daily in and out, it really helps. I even had one that just had this beautiful bird that was just flying. And, you know, it had the symbols of love and all of that. And I put the words actually on there also, love and freedom and acceptance. And then I put this small vision board behind my clients. So I'm looking at my clients, I could see it on the left side. And I even remember at times where you know, some things would become difficult, or we couldn't connect in some way, or they would say something that I wouldn't no longer be able to be centered and I would get off or get angry. And just visual, just seeing that and then reminding me that I needed to be in that space of love and acceptance and freedom. And this is what I wanted for them. And I wanted to create that, suddenly shifted me and around, brought me in that. So that visualization, that like the intentionality, going and looking for it, focusing on that, and then bringing it into life, even as a vision, as a visualization, it really, really supports our growth. So I totally,
Absolutely.
and I've really have practiced that. You talk about remembering your dream job, and going back, and you said, when we're a kid, that's so true, that everybody says, what are you going to be when you grow up? And then we look at ourselves, and when we we go in this excitement and awe and a wow of, ooh, I want to grow up just to be like that. And then we kind of miss it, or the society tells us what to do and what should be, and we kind of like lose ourselves in the middle. And you remind us that there was a passion there someday.
Yeah, I think it's important to stop and remember what that is or was. For me, I remember wanting to be a dancer. And I also wanted to be a police officer. I do not want to be either one of those things now. I'm very happy and thankful for where I'm at. And I have to give thanks for the life lessons and other situations that have happened to me, since I was a kid, that's put me in this place where I'm at now. Most people may look at me and say, "Oh, wow, he's super successful. He, runs this business that continues to grow." But I also had a lot of, personal heartache and tragedies throughout my life that's pushed me to get me to where I'm at. So I just keep on pushing.
So why would remembering a dream job give us that passion?
Yeah, I think stopping for
through all the hardships that you have.
Yeah, I think it goes back to even having a vision of something better, something that you want. Focus, as you stated, focusing on what you do want. I think when we go through tragedies such as I lost my father when I was 17. Prior to that, I went through watching my parents go through a divorce. My mother extremely depressed, suicidal. And so as a kid, when you're going through that, you have to stop for a second and focus on what you do want. I think a lot of humans can stop and accidentally focus on what they don't want. Lots of team members and friends and family come and talk to me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" They want advice, and the first thing they say is, "Listen, I was going through this, and I don't want this to happen, and I don't want, and I don't want, and I don't want." And I stop them immediately. I'm like, first, we need to stop saying what you don't want, and then start talking about what you do want. And so I think when we retrain our brain to focus on what we do want, instead of being, entangled in this "I don't want" web, life can push on the way that you want it to. And so I reference going back to, what was it that you were thinking or dreaming of back then, kind of to hit a reset button, whatever that may look like.
Mm-hmm. You beautifully say, I've made it a practice for myself to funnel my energy into pursuits that adds something to my life versus pushes me back or holds me back. What are some of the things that you can see that you could focus on where it adds, and where can you assess to stop when you sense that this doesn't add and I just don't want to play this game anymore?
Yeah, so there's so many lessons that taught me what you're talking about. And so I'll talk about personal ones first. After my father passed away, my mother was living about an hour away from where I was living at the time, here in Nashville. She got me an apartment. I was 17. I was a senior in high school. And people from the outside looking in made it look like, "Oh, wow, he's okay. He's doing good. He's all right." But I wasn't. I was depressed. I had no direction. I lost my parent. And I needed someone. I think that when you're that lost and people think that you're working well, it doesn't, I'm sorry. It doesn't, I've already lost the question. I apologize. I started going off. My apologies.
Oh,
Do you mind repeating the question? My apologies.
Of course. Wherever you go, by the way, it's fine. It doesn't matter whether it's a question or not, because these are all your thoughts that I'm sharing
Sure.
with you. You shared that you have learned to funnel your energy
You're
and
right.
of something that adds to your life.
And so when I was going through divorce and death, and people thought that I was okay, I wasn't. And so I started almost a personal like no tolerance policy because my father during the divorce did not communicate with me or my mother about why he was going through what he was going through, why he wanted to leave the family, why I was, not around him. And so I felt like as I got older and after he passed away, as a defense mechanism, I started putting up walls and having a zero tolerance policy when it came to that. Same thing professionally. I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to tardies, absences, and I don't mean you can be sick, or if you're going to be late, you're going to be late. But they understand that I draw a line in the sand. Some of the other, things that I went through over the years is I feel like with friends, for sure, I have a very small circle. I'm a social person, but I don't necessarily, I'm a, introvert. I don't love to go out. I like to celebrate people and I will do that, but I rarely conform to what other people say or do. I've never been a follower my entire life. And so I think part of that is me just putting up walls, holding my energy to myself, reinvesting that energy into myself instead of just throwing it out to the world and hoping that it sticks with somebody.
You also, since you talked about your dad, you really share about there was a time you had to come clean with yourself and him and forgive him because that's also an energy that was holding you back. And you needed to actually say goodbye to that energy and just come clean. How did that work for you? How did you get there?
Yeah, I think I might have read it somewhere, just about forgiveness, just about forgiveness, like that you hold that energy. And I was thinking, I haven't even forgiven my father for the divorce when I was 12 years old. And I was probably 21 at the time. And my dad died when I was 17. I'm just sitting here holding on to this energy. And it wasn't making me any better. And so I remember I'm praying to him just like I do to God in the universe and saying, I forgive you. And I hope you forgive me for anything that I did, when I was a teenager and as a child. And I have that practice still today at 43 years old, where if someone does something to me, intentionally or not, I immediately forgive them because I know what that energy does to you if you just keep dragging it on. It doesn't mean that I forget. It doesn't mean that I don't, hold people at arm's length and know better, but I've learned to forgive. That's for sure. It's something that I preach to anybody that comes to me about any sort of energy that has something to do with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of sense of freedom when it shows up. I had to go through that with both my parents. And I remember, I think with my dad, I forgave him after he passed on because the possibility of even having a dialogue or having a conversation to forgive was very hard when he was alive. But I remember as he passed on, I went through like almost I gave myself the opportunity and the right to first get enraged fully.
Oh, yeah.
Much as I could without being afraid of losing him because I was already lost him. And then like I had the ability to forget. And then with my mom, it was more like I settled and went back and forth until she had Alzheimer's. And then I watched her become like this baby, like this innocent baby. And it was almost like instantly that forgiveness showed up. I was like, you can be mad at this. There's
Right.
to be mad at this and then let go, but that the energy that frees is amazing. So I definitely recommend it to everyone. There are two other pieces here that are very important in your book, and I think that we need to talk about it. One of them was embracing a new culture. in how you had learned so much and brought to your world, and how much this had flourished, your being, your essence of being. Can you share a little bit about embracing new cultures?
Sure. So, well, one is the African American community. I'll say my grandfather because it's the only grandfather that I know, but my grandfather is African American. My grandmother married him before I was even born, so in the early 70s. Um, I didn't know any different growing up. Like, he was just my grandfather. And we would go to his family for Thanksgivings and Christmases and Easter and celebrate with his family. I always felt embraced. I always felt welcomed. And I enjoyed that part. They were extremely honest people compared to my white family. And so I was always attracted to the honesty and them just being very candid, and they love to joke and love to laugh and love to love. And I always looked forward to going there. And it's really shaped my entire life. My best friend in kindergarten and up until now is African American. My husband is biracial. My daughter is African American and white. It's really just been that way. It doesn't mean that I don't, deal with white culture. I feel like there really isn't any white culture, just to be honest with you. But it's really shaped me to who I am as an open and honest person. I've taken on those traits for sure. But also with music and dance and just the culture in general. I've also been attracted to other religions. I like to learn about different religions and culture. I went to the Baha'i Center with some of my Persian friends back in the day, who I still love to death. And then, I think those are important, to have an open mind. I know that I needed to be accepted as a gay man. And so I thought it was really important that I also, not be closed-minded when it comes to other cultures or religions. I feel like I've done a decent job at that. I mean, I've got a whole lot to learn, but I continue to learn.
No, you're absolutely right. As an immigrant coming, it was more like embracing a new culture was a survival concept. And then yet within the culture, of America, there's so many other cultures within it, which is you just keep embracing and moving. And to me, it's a level of growth. It's like it would be very dormanted and playing very small if I had to just, kind of like gather around my own. So it's like honoring who we are, and then expansion of honoring all the beauty that is. I was just in Colombia for 2 weeks, and looking at that beautiful culture and food and music, and it's just embracing all aspects of it. I totally agree. You said something that in your book that it was interesting to me. Like almost everything in your book that I read, I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. This one was like, wow, I really want to talk about this. And you said, telling the world that I'm gay, even more important than my fears, was my burning desire to be recognized as more than just another gay person. As proud as I am of the gay part of me, I consider it just a part. And in many ways, only a smart part of who I am. I don't like to be judged for being gay or being categorized as a typical gay or a typical white gay, a white guy, or even a typical businessman. There's nothing ordinary about me. I feel that I am among the best and most at anything I undertake in life achievement, and a part of the 1%. I take pride in that status and want to appreciate that. There was so much I experienced, so much pride in that sense. I experienced reading that as not only that I honor each part of me, but I honor the whole part of me. And I also want to be seen as the whole part of me.
Yeah, I think as humans, we're easily able to judge people based on one small criteria of, who they are. Growing up, I didn't tell a lot of people that I was gay. Of course, they might have already known, but that's not all I wanted to be known for. I wanted to be known for an honor roll student. I always wanted to be respectful. have great manners. And so I've always wanted to be more than just one thing. Same thing in business. There's something against like LGBT awards. We have them here in Nashville. I've been nominated and won some, but I do not want to be just confined to this one, this one silo. That's just not who I am. If I want to win all the awards that I can in business, not just, LGBT. I think that's just an important part of all of us. I think we, get into our tribes or get into our, networks, and then we stay there until we are the best at it. And my goal is, like I said, to be the best at all of the above, and not be judged for any certain part of it. I was talking to my good friend who happens to be gay as well. And he was telling me about his struggles with his parents. And I was trying to explain to him that, listen, you need to show them that you're more than just that. Look how great you are in your position here. Look what kind of friend you are. You're always reliable, dependable. You're open and honest. Show them that. Not that the parents didn't already know those things, but sometimes parents have to be reminded too that, listen, I'm not just this gay guy or gay woman or whatever it may be. I'm all these things. I'm the person that you raised. I'm still the good person. And so that's been a big deal to me. I think that came from me wanting to prove to my mom how great I can be. And since my father passed away at 17, and I still, yearn for his, acceptance and for him to be proud of me, even to this day, as I sit here in front of you. I think that's my drive, is just to be the best that I can be.
You talk about thoughts becoming things. It's almost like there's an intentionality and then there's an action and creation. But anything that happens, there is an intentionality, a vision of that before it can ever come to an expression out there. How has that consistently worked in your life and in your business and your success?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer that thoughts become things, good or bad. And so, the things that you dwell on, things that you focus on, that's what's going to happen, positive or negative. I think I have just somehow mastered, it doesn't mean I don't have negative things happen to me, but I've mastered that piece of it. Going back to the vision boards, that's been a huge deal for me over the last, 22 years of almost being in business. When I first started my business, I worked out of my dining room. I remember visualizing having an office one day, and I did. I got a little 300 square foot office with me and a few other team members. After that, I remember wanting a new modern office, and we did. We moved to a really nice office downtown Nashville. But I also wanted to be a nationwide company. And I also wanted to have certain culture at our office, certain core values. And so I continue to put those thoughts either on paper or creating a vision board until they were manifested. And I know that sounds kind of like magic, but there's actions that come behind that, as you said. You have to focus on those things, collaborate with others so that there's intention behind it, and making sure that you have the strength to do it. I've had, weight issues since I was 12, since my parents divorced. And so weight has always been on my vision board because it goes up and down and up and down. And so it doesn't mean that everything, you put a car on your vision board and you're going to get it. That's not what this is about. It doesn't mean that it can't be that. It just means that it's not magic. You have to, create your vision, put action behind it, work towards it, be a good person. That part's very important too. Be a good person and put great energy out there. And then I'm a firm believer, because it's happened to me, that God and the universe will hand those things right back to you. And then you get to celebrate and then tell everyone about it, which is the best part of it, at least for me. I mean, I have a no college education. I started my business 22 years ago with $50 in my checking account, no credit. I'm, now a nationwide business with over 4,000 physicians' offices and hospitals and continue to grow. Um, I have no one else to thank but God and the universe. I wish I could tell you like I had all these investors. I've never had an investor. I wish could tell you I have a board that I went to help me with these decisions all of these years, but I don't. This is really about faith and belief and watching it happen.
And you talk about the rules of success for you, and as you have experienced it and want to share it with people, which is devote 200% your business, build trust with your clients, nurture your employees, and stand out from the competition, and be accountable in all of those. And you bring that and land it in how you express it with everyone. As you were talking, it showed up for me. And what enticed you to write the book? What is it?
Sure. I was approached about doing a book, and they wanted me to do be an authority figure in my industry, which is medical records, and not that fun to talk about. And so what I thought would be good is just to tell the story of how I got to where I'm currently at, especially as a gay male and being surrounded by other minorities. I want them to know that there's hope. Once again, I barely made out of high school because my father passed away my senior year of high school. I had been an AB student all the way up until then. And then when he passed away, I didn't know what I was going to do. And so to be able to take that negative energy and kind of twist it, mold it, play with it, and then form something and manifest something like I have, I think it was worth telling that story.
Beautiful. We have 1 minute. If there's anything that you know that you really want to share with people and that we haven't touched upon, what would that be?
Well, going back to one of the secrets of success, this goes personally or professionally, about standing out. I would say I like being the boss who you're able to go talk to, that actually listens, that actually cares, that when they say they have an open door policy, they really do. They really want to hear from you. And so I stand out that way as a boss. As a vendor or a partner with my clients, this sounds odd, but even though I have 4,000 clients, they all have my cell phone number. They know they can text me, call me. They know I always will be open and honest with them, good or bad. And as you stated, take accountability. Same thing personally. We all have that one friend or family member who we can always count on, who's always responsible. And so I would challenge you and your guests to be that person for your friends and family.
And you had one sentence that showed up that you got, I think, from your grandmother, right?
It was my mom. Yeah, it's on her tombstone. Live so you don't have to explain. And mom was just saying, do the right thing. That was her way of saying it. And so, it's embedded in my brain. She's been telling me that since I was a kid. And so I would definitely leave you with that. Live so you do not have to explain.
I love that sentence. I really do. I think it says it all. Thank you so much for taking the time and being with us.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me.
Everyone out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and actually see you next year. Take care.